Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the NECA toys. This is the Spider-Man Homecoming Spider-Man hand-painted head knocker. Taking the tape measure and putting it next to Spider-Man, we know that this head knocker is approximately 8¼ inches in height. The statue stands on top of a brick kind of rooftop scene. Some really nice intricate details there to the bricks as well as the top surface here painted in a very neutral gray. The underside, you've got Marvel, Marvel.com, and NECA underneath that, with NECA's website at www.necaonline.com. The piece itself is hand-painted, a quality resin, and one of the good things about the head knockers is if you really want a good-looking piece at an affordable price, head knockers are the way to go. Of course, the name head knockers refers to the fact that Spider-Man's head not only is a little bit larger, but is also sitting atop of his neck via a spring. So you do have a little bit of spring action with the actual head moving. In fact, if I just kind of shake it a little bit, you can see how the head moves. Now, this is not something I would advocate doing a lot on a regular basis because the fact that it is resin, you do run the risk that the neck will crack. So be very careful with these particular pieces as they are not plastic, of course. The piece overall looks pretty good. Slightly tilting it to the side, it does look like the figure stands or leans a little further back. It doesn't seem like he stands completely straight forward. He's got some really great details, though, making the costume from the movie here in resin form. It's got some nice blues and the panel lining there also in his suit. Some nice black outlining there on the bottom soles of his feet, the top portions of his boots. Generally, paint is pretty clean. Gets a little on the messy side here where it's hard to figure out where the boot was supposed to end and where the paint ultimately had the boot end. I feel like it should be a little bit lower. The black, unfortunately, gets a little on the messy side on the back here where it just doesn't line up with where it's supposed to be. As we move further up the chest, generally it's okay. Like, again, it gets a little on the rough side around the torso area there. The emblem is probably one of the, maybe the poorest examples of where the paint just didn't line up. I guess the takeaway for the majority of the figure, both front and back, is the fact that whoever or what, it's hand painted. Okay, so we have to look at that and factor that in for this piece. But it does seem like the person who hand painted this, and keeping in mind results will vary from piece to piece, but it seems unfortunately on my sample here, the one that we're looking at here, that the Spider-Man's paint was quite poorly executed. It's there in the sense that the black is added, but nothing really lines up where it should be. The black should not really be carrying over as far as it is. Definitely should not be carrying the way it is on the back here with the red. Just it looks like whoever painted this particular piece didn't put as much care and effort into it as I would hope that they put into the other pieces that they released. Spider-Man's face is good, of course a little bit larger in proportion to the rest of his neck. He's got a little bit of this excessive extra black that's been added around his neck portion. Otherwise, like the head seems generally of the entire piece, the better painted better paint applied component. Granted, that's not really saying much because like the webbing, you're pretty much only just filling in the grooves. The eye area, you're just outlining an area that really is already defined, and the fact that the head is larger than everything else on the statued piece, it's probably the easiest, of course, to paint just by virtue of all the things I just already mentioned. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little on the sloppy side, and I can only hope that this particular release, the one that I just happen to have, this isn't something that's going to be necessarily all across the board here. Generally, I really like the head knockers. I think they bring something a little bit different to the table, but also in the fact that they are resin pieces. They feel like they're a little bit more substantial. They feel a little bit more like they're a statue as opposed to maybe some of the other knocking collectibles out on the market, like, for example, some of the stuff that is released by Pop. So the quality end of it, the material used, does make this an elevated collectible. And I've always liked the fact that they were hand painted. Generally, I haven't had any problems with the fact of these pieces being hand painted. And yet, unfortunately, Spider-Man, the one that I was really looking forward to and reviewing here today, has some of the worst paint I've seen on one of these head knockers. It just seems as if the person that was applying paint just decided that they didn't want to really line up to all the areas that were supposed to be defined on his costume. Instead, just really missing those lines altogether, overlapping areas. It almost seems as if they just didn't put a lot of effort and time into this. I can't speak whether this is across the board. You may potentially have picked up a head knocker Spider-Man and maybe have better paint quality than what I ultimately have right here. I really like this piece, and the only shortcoming to it is the fact that his paint seems so poorly executed. If perhaps you have picked this up for yourself, let me know in the comments section down below what the paint quality was on your piece. Was your piece a little sloppy as well, maybe as sloppy as what we looked at in this particular video? Let me know down below in the comments section. It's a disappointing piece because really, I was excited to see what they were going to do with a Spider-Man Homecoming head knocker. Ultimately, I really like it, shy of the fact that the paint is a little messier than I would have wanted. If you guys haven't had a chance yet to hit that little subscribe button down below, make sure you do so. Of course, if you want to check out some more head knocker reviews, you're in luck. Of course, there's going to be a playlist on this channel designated solely to head knockers. So if that is your cup of tea, hopefully that playlist will accommodate all those needs. Certainly more videos also will be coming your way as well, guys. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.